Today I'm going to do my upgrade on my gaming machine, which happens about every 3 years. I change platforms, and then I take the insides of this and put it in a machine I call a backup game machine, and then the inners of that are going to go into the machine I use for everyday other things, and so on and so forth. And I'll show each one of those as I go along. Here, let me see if I can. It's not a very good picture. I'll have to tilt the camera. All right, here we have two 1080s in SI, and you can see that they're coupled with decouplers that are very easy, so that I have each section I can drain independently. For instance, here, I'll show you, that uncaps this water line going into the CPU, and then coming out of the CPU to the graphics card, and then here, coming out of the graphics card. You can see there's no dripping or anything. It comes apart very easily. I can drain this independently. I don't have to do anything with the process. I just switch it over to the new board. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the graphics card and the board out of there. I'm not going to bore you with that detail, but after I get it out of there, I'm going to clean the inside of the machine. I've already cleaned the front panels and stuff. Any place where dust can gather, you want to take care of it. It was a year ago I was in the machine, and I cleaned it then because I put in the new graphics cards. I had two 780s in there. I skipped the generation, went to the 1080s. It's getting so that doing the graphics cards and the board and the memory and the processor has to be in every 3 year or process because of the cost. You got to, I don't know about you, but I just don't have a certain amount of cash just laying around free that I can, buy anytime I want. So I have to kind of save up to do this. But it's worth it. When I get done, this will probably be the last one I'll do for a long time because, well, just because they will last a long time. This machine, with this newest upgrade, is going to go 10 years easy without having to do anything to it, because it'll handle just about anything that it handles everything now. And so does the backup game machine, which is an X79 setup. This is going to be an X299, and then this is X99 is going to go into the backup game machine. So all those machines, even the X79 over here, still handles everything I can throw at it. So I'm not worried about how long these are going to last. These are, in the first place, these are all Tough Series boards, and they have 5-year warranties. The X79 is out of it, but still going fine, no problems. This one's got a couple years yet, and the one I'm going to put in is going to have 5 years. So I'm pretty sure that I can go at least 10 years without having to upgrade any of them. Not good news probably for the manufacturers, but there's got to be more out there to utilize the power that I have. These are like huge, capable machines. It has 32 gigabytes of memory on board. The most I've seen this machine use is 16, and still have half the memory to go yet. So, until they get more programs, well, that's when I'm processing a lot of stuff with, like doing video processing and things, because I always use the game machine to do that. Anyway, I'm going to close this right now and take this apart, and then come back later and show you without the board, and then show the new board and stuff when I get it. Okay, there you have it. This is the X99 board with the water cooler still on it. I don't have to take that off because the other machine is water cooled the same way. It's just a matter of sticking it in and plugging in the hoses, and that'll be ready. And then of course the graphics card, which I think the spacing is more than this on the new machine. I think it might be that wide, but we'll see. Anyhow, the parts haven't showed up yet. They should be here soon, but we'll be back. Okay, here's another thing you should be aware of with a lot of these new boards. You're getting for your, say, front ports or to plug in USB devices are USB 2, and you don't want to get rid of that case just because you got a different connector on either coming off the case or coming off the system board. So what this does is this allows you, if you get a case that has the new USB 3 connector in it, you can go to your USB 2 on your board and just plug in that USB connector here, and then you'll have 3 to 2. On this board that I put in, this X299 in my game machine here, it has a USB 3 port of this type, which is much smaller than what this thing was on the other ones. You can see there's a huge difference in connector size. This one allows it to come off the board and go to the USB 2 port that's on the front of the machine. No need to get rid of the case just because you have a different connector. You have to remember that most of these boards, the external I/O on the back has at least one, such as this one has a Type C on the back of it. So if I need to use a Type C, I can still do it on here. Also, it has USB 3 ports on the back, quite a few of them. So if I have to have a USB 3 device hooked up to it, I can do it. So if you're worried about the case that you are attached to, you like I am for this particular case, there's adapters out there you can get that'll allow you to do that. Okay, I forgot that I had to take the water block off the board because I'm rotating the processors. There we go. Get it through the and the one that's in the backup game machine is going to come off of there and go onto the X99 board, and the X79 board won't have a water-cooled block on it. It'll have a large fan. Okay, the parts finally showed up. This is the X299 Tough Asus Tough board, the Core i9, and ballistic memory, which I'm actually going to put it in the X99 and take the X99 memory and put it on this board. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to set up, unbox this and that. There's nothing really to see in the unboxing of great importance. Then I'll set the two boards up side by side and explain some of the differences. Okay, here's the new board with the memory on it from the X99 board and the cooling block. It's all set up to be put back in. It's the X99 over here. It has, I put in there some crucial ballistic because I couldn't find any Vengeance for a good enough price, and I figured, well, I'll try the ballistics. I've used them before. We'll see how they work. If they don't work well, I'll get more Vengeance, but I want to get this up to 32 gig again. Anyhow, this is 32 gig. It has it has an LED controller on it for if you want to have LED strips in there or tune it to the other LEDs in your machine. Has 3.1 USB and 3.0 USB, 2.0 USB, and C-type. It has a chipset fan on it, versus this one had a fan for the voltage regulators up here. Why they didn't put one here, I don't know, maybe it's more efficient, could be. Anyway, has the same 8 and 4 for the CPU for overclocking, and it's basically ready just to be stuck back in there. And if we look over here, you'll see the two graphics cards that are going to go back into it, the 1080s, and that whole process shouldn't take me probably more than 15 minutes to do, which I'm going to do right now. Alright, I'm not where I should be. I'm just changing out the boards in the big game machine. The new one that I put in there was DOA. So I had to put it all back together to verify that the hardware I attached to the new board and processor worked, and it did. So now I'm just waiting for the other board to RMA it to a Newegg, and I'm waiting for it to get back here. So meanwhile, I'm going to take the board from the machine that I was putting that new board in and putting it in this, the backup game machine. And I'm going to take this board and put it in the machine that I do most of my main work. I'll show you what it looks like when I get it back together. Okay, I have the X99 board in the backup machine. The X79 is going in my main work machine. I made some changes in the water system because this was too much of a bend here. So I've got this angled fitting on here that makes it more of a tapered end, and I also put a elbow in over at that end because there's a real bad kink there I didn't see right away. Anyhow, I purged the air out of the system, dusted her out, cleaned the radiators, and I'm ready to bring it over and hook it up and see if it works. That's the big test. Okay, we have the X79 board ready to go in the what I call the main machine, and you can see it has a fan on it instead of a water cooler now. We'll see how that works. This can do SLI, but I only run one a 1050i in that machine, so it'll be drawing less power. Probably since that's more of a workstation, and I do a lot of Excel and Word stuff on it. The extra memory will help for, you know, if I have a really big problem I have to work out. But anyhow, that's set to go. I'm going to bring that machine out here a little bit and stick this board in it. Alright, this is the board I took out of my main machine, or my machine that I do my everyday stuff on, internet crap and Word and Excel. This is going to go into a new case I'm getting, a level 10 GTS for my grandson's birthday, and all the parts you see back there, the power supply, keyboard, graphics card, drives, cables, that's all going into it. And then over here, what you see is, let me get this, that's too close, is the graphics cards, the CPU water cooler, the CPU, and the memory that's going to go in the X299 board when I get it for my main game machine, my big game machine. What I've done is I've taken the X99 board, put it into the backup game machine, booted up fine, no problems. Took the X79 board, put it in the main machine, booted up, no problems. So I'm just waiting for parts to show up so I can finish these machines. We'll come back to this later. Bye. Alrighty, just got my new replacement board. Pretty good turnaround within a week. They had overnighted the new one back. So I'm gonna get ready to. I'm gonna put the cooler on, the cooling block, and the processor in, and the memory outside the box here. Get everything ready to put in there, and get this baby back hooked up to where it should be. As I say before, the other two systems I've already updated because I took the board out of this one to get ready. So I'm going to get going and do that right now. I'll show you when it's done. Alright, got the board in. It's ready to go. Set it up with the rest of the cooling system and see if it boots up. Got my fingers crossed. Well, the new case finally showed up from Amazon, which I got a good deal on it from them, but whoever the seller was took 12 days to get it to me, which is a heck of a long time to wait for something. I don't think I'll buy from this seller again. It's not Amazon's fault, but yeah, the case is a nice case. I've used them before. I have the bigger brother for my game case. So I'm going to put all this stuff in here. The two GTXs here, the 4770K, 8 gigs of memory, 3 hard drives, a Blu-ray drive, and a 650 watt power supply. That's a little lower than I normally use, but we'll see how it works. I'll get back to you when I got it together again. All right. I got everything in the case. 2 580s fit in there nice. If I put anything more in there, it might get a little crowded. It's kind of crowded now, but it's still okay to work on. Has the 3 drives in it and on the side there. And everything is working the way it's supposed to. Came up just perfect. I think my grandson is going to like this case, this computer. Oh, here's what we started with. This machine had an X99 board, 32 gig of memory on it, with a 5930K in it. Great machines. The hardware, the board, and the memory and the processors are still great. Still using them. I put in this one an X99 board with an i9 7900X, which is a 10-core processor. It was expensive, but I'm figuring on hanging on to this for a long time. I have 2 1080s in it, superclock 1080s, and it'll run anything for that I can see coming up in the next few years with no problem. So now let's go to where the hardware from this one went. So the hardware, the system board and processor went into this machine. I bought some new memory, 16 gig versus 32 because I just couldn't find a good price on it. Eventually it'll have 32 gig in it, but this is what I call my backup game machine. Has a it's water cooled and has 2 780s in it that used to be in the big game machine. Okay, so and the monitor on this one is a 28-inch 240 megahertz display. but there's no G-Sync. Well, let me see. Does it have? Yeah, there's G-Sync. It's a 1080p, where the game machine has a 2K, which is G-Sync, and so they're both good monitors for gaming. Now the hardware from this, we'll go to where that's at. Now the X79 board and 32 gig of memory and the 3930 that was in the backup game machine went into this machine, which is my everyday machine that handles all my Excel sheets, my Word, and my DVD collection, which is in these carousels here. It's around 3,000 slots, about just over half full. And the display is it's a G-Sync 3D monitor, smaller one, 23-inch, versus the other ones are quite a bit bigger. But anyhow, it works great. Now, so I have 3 high-end machines now that are doing the work for me. Now the equipment that was in this machine went into my grandson's build, which alright, the medium machine I've made no changes to. It's got a i5 2500K in it. It's a great processor, and it's continued to work the way it's supposed to work. I use it on my big display here. There's the whole setup, which is an 82-inch Mitsubishi DLP, and of course I have the amplifier and everything else, and my routers down there, 2 digital tuners besides the tuner that's on the TV, so I can record off the air TV shows. So it's a nice setup.